അല്പസമയത്തിനകം ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ നിയമസഭയിലെത്തും. അദ്ദേഹം രാജ്ഭവനിൽ നിന്ന് പുറപ്പെട്ടു കഴിഞ്ഞു. നിയമസഭയിലേക്ക് മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി പിണറായി വിജയനും പ്രതിപക്ഷ നേതാവ് വി.ഡി. സതീശനും സ്പീക്കർ എം.ബി. രാജേഷും ചേർന്ന് അദ്ദേഹത്തെ ആനയിക്കും. തുടർന്ന് 9 മണിക്ക് അദ്ദേഹം രണ്ടാം പിണറായി വിജയൻ സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ ആദ്യ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗം അവതരിപ്പിക്കും. നേരത്തെ ഒന്നാം പിണറായി വിജയൻ സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ അവസാന കാലത്ത് ബജറ്റ് സമ്മേളനത്തിന് തൊട്ടുമുമ്പ് ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ നടത്തിയ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിലെ പ്രസക്ത ഭാഗങ്ങളും ഇടതുമുന്നണി പ്രകടന പത്രികയിലെ പ്രസക്തമായ ഭാഗങ്ങളും ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തിയതാകും ഈ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗം എന്ന കാര്യത്തിൽ യാതൊരു തർക്കവുമില്ല. സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ വൻകിട പദ്ധതികൾ, സിൽവർ ലൈൻ റെയിൽവേ, തിരുവനന്തപുരം കാസർഗോഡ് അതിവേഗ റെയിൽപാതയാണിത്. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ K-ഫോൺ പദ്ധതി, ഇതൊക്കെ ഈ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിൽ പരാമർശിക്കും.
ഒരു സെക്കൻഡ് ദിലീപ്, നമ്മുടെ ഗവർണർ രാജ്ഭവനിൽ നിന്ന് പുറപ്പെട്ട അദ്ദേഹം നിയമസഭാ സമ്മേളനത്തിൽ എത്തുന്നതിൻ്റെ ദൃശ്യങ്ങളാണ് പ്രേക്ഷകർ ഇപ്പോൾ കണ്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. അദ്ദേഹത്തെ കാത്ത് വി.ഡി. സതീശനും അതുപോലെ മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി പിണറായി വിജയനും നിയമസഭാ സ്പീക്കർ എം.ബി. രാജേഷും നിയമസഭാ ഹാളിന് മുന്നിൽ കാത്തു നിൽക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹം നിയമസഭാ കാമ്പൗണ്ടിലേക്ക് അദ്ദേഹം കടന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞു. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ വാഹനം വ്യൂഹമാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ പ്രേക്ഷകർ കണ്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. തനീഷ് തമ്പി നമുക്കൊപ്പം തത്സമയം ചേരുന്നു. തനീഷ്, വിശദാംശങ്ങൾ.
ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ നിയമസഭയ്ക്കകത്തേക്ക് പ്രവേശിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നു. ഏതാനും സെക്കൻഡുകൾക്കുള്ളിൽ അദ്ദേഹം നിയമസഭയുടെ പോർട്ടിക്കോയിലേക്ക് എത്തും. അവിടെ മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി ഉൾപ്പെടെയുള്ളവർ അദ്ദേഹത്തെ കാത്തു നിൽക്കുകയാണ്. സ്പീക്കറും പ്രതിപക്ഷ നേതാവും എല്ലാവരുമുണ്ട്. അല്പസമയത്തിനകം തന്നെ അദ്ദേഹത്തെ സ്വീകരിച്ച് അദ്ദേഹത്തെ നിയമസഭാ ഹാളിനകത്തേക്ക് ആനയിക്കും. അതിനുശേഷമായിരിക്കും നയപ്രഖ്യാപനത്തിലേക്ക് കടക്കുക. ഏതാനും സെക്കൻഡുകൾക്ക് മുൻപാണ് ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ നിയമസഭയ്ക്കകത്തേക്ക് പ്രവേശിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഈ സർക്കാരിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം രണ്ടാം പിണറായി സർക്കാരാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഒട്ടേറെ പ്രത്യേകതകളുള്ള ഒരു നയപ്രഖ്യാപനമായിരിക്കും ഉണ്ടാവുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് പൊതുവിൽ പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കപ്പെടുന്നത്. അതിൻ്റെ ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട കാരണം കോവിഡ് കാലമാണ്. ഈ കോവിഡ് കാലത്ത് ഇതിനെ അതിജീവിക്കുന്നതിനുള്ള ശ്രമങ്ങൾ എങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ആയിരിക്കും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിനുവേണ്ടി തയ്യാറാക്കിയിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു പ്ലാൻ എന്താണ് എന്നത് സംബന്ധിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു രൂപരേഖ ഒരു പക്ഷേ ഇന്നത്തെ ഗവർണറുടെ നയപ്രഖ്യാപനത്തിൽ ഉണ്ടാകുമെന്നുള്ളതാണ് പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കുന്നത്. കരുതൽ, അതിനോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ വികസനം, ഇതാണ് പിണറായി രണ്ടാം സർക്കാർ മുന്നോട്ട് വയ്ക്കുന്ന ഒരു പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട കാര്യമെന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഈ വികസനം, വൻകിട പദ്ധതികൾ
ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാനെ മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി പിണറായി വിജയൻ ബൊക്കെ നൽകി സ്വീകരിച്ച ദൃശ്യങ്ങളാണ് പ്രേക്ഷകർ കാണുന്നത്. ഇപ്പോൾ സ്പീക്കർ എം.ബി. രാജേഷ് അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ബൊക്കെ നൽകുന്ന ചിത്രം, അതുപോലെ മന്ത്രി കെ രാധാകൃഷ്ണനും അദ്ദേഹത്തെ സ്വീകരിക്കുന്നു. ഇപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹം നിയമസഭാ ഹാളിലേക്ക് കടക്കുന്ന ദൃശ്യങ്ങളാണ് പ്രേക്ഷകർ കാണുന്നത്. ഇപ്പോൾ നമുക്കിപ്പം ദിലീപ് കുമാർ ചേരുന്നു. ദിലീപ്, എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് നടപടിക്രമങ്ങൾ, വിശദാംശങ്ങൾ?
എസ്.കെ.എൻ. ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ നിയമസഭയിലേക്ക് പ്രവേശിക്കുകയാണ്. നിയമസഭാ ഹാളിലേക്ക് അദ്ദേഹം പ്രവേശിക്കുന്നു. മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി പിണറായി വിജയൻ, പ്രതിപക്ഷ നേതാവ് വി.ഡി. സതീശൻ, സ്പീക്കർ എം.ബി. രാജേഷ് എന്നിവർ ഗവർണറെ സഭാ ഹാളിലേക്ക് ആനയിക്കുകയാണ്. അല്പസമയത്തിനകം അദ്ദേഹം ഇപ്പോൾ സഭയിലേക്ക് പ്രവേശിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നു. അംഗങ്ങൾ എഴുന്നേറ്റ് നിന്ന് അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ആദരവ് പ്രകടിപ്പിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അല്പസമയത്തിനകം ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ രണ്ടാം പിണറായി വിജയൻ സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ ആദ്യ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗം അവതരിപ്പിക്കും. നേരത്തെ ഒന്നാം പിണറായി വിജയൻ സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ അവസാന കാലത്ത് ബജറ്റ് സമ്മേളനത്തിന് തുടക്കമിട്ട് ഗവർണർ നടത്തിയ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിൻ്റെ തുടർച്ച തന്നെയാകും ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗം. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ആ പ്രസംഗത്തിലെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ചില വാഗ്ദാനങ്ങൾക്കൊപ്പം തന്നെ ഇടതുമുന്നണി പ്രകടന പത്രികയിലെ ചില വാഗ്ദാനങ്ങളും ഈ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിൽ ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. വാക്സിനേഷൻ വിഷയത്തിൽ കേന്ദ്ര സർക്കാരിന് വിമർശനമുണ്ടായേക്കുമെന്ന സൂചനയുണ്ട്. നേരത്തെയുള്ള നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗങ്ങൾ പ്രതിപക്ഷം സഭയിൽ ബഹിഷ്കരിക്കുകയോ ബഹളം വയ്ക്കുകയോ ഒക്കെ ചെയ്തിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ ഇത്തവണ ഈ സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ ആദ്യ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗമെന്ന നിലയിൽ പ്രതിപക്ഷം ഈ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തോട് സഹകരിക്കുന്നതിനുള്ള സാധ്യതയാണ് ഇപ്പോഴുള്ളത്. പ്രധാന പദ്ധതികൾ, K-ഫോൺ ആയാലും അത് തിരുവനന്തപുരം കാസർഗോഡ് അതിവേഗ റെയിൽപാതയുടെ കാര്യത്തിലായാലും തൊഴിലവസരങ്ങൾ സൃഷ്ടിക്കുന്ന കാര്യത്തിലായാലുമൊക്കെ ഇടതുമുന്നണി പ്രകടന പത്രികയിലെ വാഗ്ദാനം തന്നെ ഈ പുതിയ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിലും ഉണ്ടാകും. കൂടുതൽ തൊഴിലവസരങ്ങൾ സൃഷ്ടിക്കൽ, 40 ലക്ഷത്തോളം പേർക്ക് തൊഴിലവസരങ്ങൾ സൃഷ്ടിക്കുമെന്നാണ് നേരത്തെ 40 ലക്ഷത്തോളം തൊഴിലവസരങ്ങൾ സൃഷ്ടിക്കുമെന്നാണ് നേരത്തെ ഇടതുമുന്നണി പ്രകടന പത്രിക വാഗ്ദാനം ചെയ്തിരുന്നത്. 10,000 കോടി രൂപയുടെ നിക്ഷേപം ഈ സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ കാലത്ത് കൊണ്ടുവരുമെന്ന വാഗ്ദാനവും ഇടതുമുന്നണി പ്രകടന പത്രിക നൽകിയിരുന്നു. അത്തരം വാഗ്ദാനങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഇതിനകത്തുണ്ടാവും. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ പാർപ്പിടം അവകാശമെന്നായിരുന്നു ഒന്നാം പിണറായി വിജയൻ സർക്കാർ പ്രഖ്യാപിച്ചിരുന്നതെങ്കിൽ ഇത്തവണ ഈ കിടപ്പാടം ജപ്തി ചെയ്തു പോകാതിരിക്കാനുള്ള നടപടികൾ, അതിനുള്ള നിയമനിർമ്മാണം അടക്കമുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളും ഈ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിലുണ്ടായേക്കും എന്ന സൂചനയുമുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ സഭയിൽ അംഗങ്ങൾ പ്രവേശിക്കുന്നതിനുള്ള ബെൽ മുഴങ്ങിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അല്പസമയത്തിനകം ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗം നടത്തും. SKN.
ഇപ്പോൾ ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ നിയമസഭയിൽ എത്തിക്കഴിഞ്ഞു. പിണറായി വിജയൻ സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ ആദ്യ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗമായിരിക്കും ഗവർണർ അവിടെ നടത്തുക. രണ്ടാം പിണറായി വിജയൻ സർക്കാരിന് ഒരുപാട് പുതുമകളുണ്ട്. 44 കൊല്ലങ്ങൾക്ക് ശേഷമാണ് ഒരു തുടർഭരണം കേരളത്തിലുണ്ടാകുന്നത്. നമുക്ക് കൂടുതൽ വിശദാംശങ്ങൾക്കായി തനീഷ് തമ്പി നമുക്കൊപ്പം ചേരുന്നു. തനീഷ്, വിശദാംശങ്ങൾ. തനീഷ് തമ്പി, നമുക്ക് അല്പസമയം കഴിഞ്ഞ് മാത്രമേ അദ്ദേഹത്തോട് ബന്ധപ്പെടാൻ കഴിയുന്നുള്ളൂ. നമുക്കൊപ്പം വീണ്ടും ദിലീപ് കുമാർ ചേരുന്നു. ദിലീപ്, ഇന്ന് യഥാർത്ഥത്തിൽ 40 ലക്ഷം തൊഴിലവസരങ്ങൾ പോലെയുള്ള സ്വപ്ന പദ്ധതികളാണ്, K-ഫോൺ പോലെയുള്ള സ്വപ്ന പദ്ധതികളാണ് നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിൽ ഉണ്ടാവുക. ഒരുപക്ഷെ വളരെ പ്രതീക്ഷയോടെയാണ് രണ്ടാം പിണറായി സർക്കാരിനെ നാട്ടുകാർ, ജനങ്ങൾ കാണുന്നത്. എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് വിശദാംശങ്ങൾ?
SKN, മറ്റൊരു പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട കാര്യം, ഈ സാധാരണക്കാരടക്കം ഉറ്റുനോക്കുന്നത് ക്ഷേമ പെൻഷനുകളിലെ വർധനവ് സംബന്ധിച്ച പ്രഖ്യാപനം ഉണ്ടാകുമോ എന്നതാണ്. ഇടതുമുന്നണി പ്രകടന പത്രിക പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നത് നിലവിലെ 1,600 രൂപയിൽ നിന്ന് ക്ഷേമ പെൻഷൻ 5 വർഷം കൊണ്ട് ഘട്ടം ഘട്ടമായി 2,500 രൂപയിൽ എത്തിക്കുമെന്നാണ്. അങ്ങനെയെങ്കിൽ ആദ്യ വർഷം തന്നെ നേരിയ വർധനവ് ഈ പെൻഷനിൽ ഉണ്ടാകേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു. അക്കാര്യം നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിൽ പരാമർശിക്കുമോ എന്ന കാര്യം ഉറ്റുനോക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ബജറ്റ് 4-ാം തീയതി വരാനിരിക്കുകയാണ്. 4-ാം തീയതിയിലെ ബജറ്റിലും ഈ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിൽ ആ പരാമർശമില്ലെങ്കിൽ 4-ാം തീയതിയിലെ ബജറ്റിൽ ഏതായാലും ഉണ്ടാകും എന്ന സൂചന തന്നെയാണ് ലഭിക്കുന്നത്. കാരണം ഘട്ടം ഘട്ടമായി ഉയർത്തണമെങ്കിൽ ആദ്യ വർഷം തന്നെ ക്ഷേമ പെൻഷനുകളിൽ
ഇപ്പോൾ നിയമസഭയിലേക്ക് ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ പ്രവേശിക്കുന്നതിൻ്റെ തത്സമയ ദൃശ്യമാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം നിമിഷങ്ങൾക്കകം അദ്ദേഹം നിയമസഭാ ഹാളിലേക്ക് കടക്കും. അദ്ദേഹം നിയമസഭാ ഹാളിലേക്ക് കടക്കുന്നതിനുള്ള ദൃശ്യങ്ങളിലാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ പ്രേക്ഷകർ കണ്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. രണ്ടാം പിണറായി സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ ആദ്യ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗം അവതരിപ്പിക്കാൻ ഗവർണറെ സ്വീകരിക്കുന്ന ദൃശ്യങ്ങളാണ് പ്രേക്ഷകർ തത്സമയം കാണുന്നത്. രണ്ടാം പിണറായി സർക്കാരിൻ്റെ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗത്തിനായി ഗവർണർ നിയമസഭയിൽ എത്തിക്കഴിഞ്ഞു. അല്പനിമിഷങ്ങൾക്കകം ആദ്യ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗം ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ നടത്തും. നമുക്കൊപ്പം ടെലിഫോൺ ലൈനിൽ തനേഷ് തമ്പി ചേരുന്നു. അദ്ദേഹം പ്രസംഗം വായിക്കാനുള്ള ശ്രമത്തിലാണ്. നമുക്ക് ഒരു ഗവർണറുടെ പ്രസംഗത്തിലേക്ക് കടക്കാം. അതിന് തത്സമയ സംരക്ഷണമാണ് പ്രേക്ഷകർ ഇപ്പോൾ കണ്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്.
Honorable Speaker, Chief Minister, Ministers, Leader of Opposition and Honorable Members. It is my honor and privilege to address this august body of representatives of the people of Kerala, marking the beginning of the first session of the 15th Kerala Legislative Assembly. Before proceeding to elaborate on the current situation and the policies of my government, let me state that my government has come into office by winning a renewed mandate from the people of Kerala. My government will continue to implement the welfare and development programs of the previous government and is committed to lead the state towards far-reaching growth in all sectors of the economy, benefiting all sections of the society. The fruits of economic growth shall bypass none. There shall not be a divide in the society, with some of the sections being marginalized. There shall be no divide on the digital front either. The policies and programs of my government will always have these goals built into them. My government has unflinching faith in democracy, secularism, and welfare of the people. My government is committed to protect the unity and integrity of the nation while recognizing the spirit of unity in diversity. Our strength is the underlying core of unity in spite of linguistic, religious, and ideological differences. To strengthen this unity, we need to strive to eradicate the inequalities based on gender, socio-economic status, and physical disabilities. My government is committed to make the promises made in the election manifesto a reality. My government believes that pledges made to the people are to be redeemed continuously and are not once merely to be reiterated at 5-year intervals. My government has begun its functioning by initiating steps to implement key promises made in the election manifesto. I state with satisfaction that my government remains committed to the promises made to the people. We meet today as the specter of the COVID-19 pandemic is still haunting countries across the world. Kerala too has been affected badly, but we have been able to contain the case fatality rate. This has been made possible by effective, coordinated functioning of the departments concerned. The health, police, disaster management, local self-government, revenue were in the lead. The people's participation within the framework of empowered local self-governments deserves special mention. The administrative machinery has been working much beyond their normal call of duty. In the face of this unprecedented challenge, a counter-cyclical fiscal policy to stimulate the economy has been initiated lest the economic slowdown should become steeper. My government is trying its level best to provide care to the vulnerable sections of the society. My government believes that it is its first duty to foster the feeling that getting care is the right of everyone and not a favor or a privilege. In the initial days of the first wave of the pandemic, my government came out with a comprehensive COVID-19 relief package to the tune of rupees 20,000 crore, aimed at benefiting almost every section of the society. As part of this package, payment of welfare pensions were made up to date, benefiting 47.2 lakh beneficiaries. 150 crore rupees was set aside for payment of one-time relief of rupees 1,000 per family for 14.7 lakh BPL households, which are not getting welfare pensions. 100 crore rupees was set aside for providing free food grains to families in need, while rupees 50 crore was set aside for provision of subsidized meal at 20 rupees through Jankiya hotels. Universal distribution of free kits containing essential articles at a monthly cost of 400 crore rupees was done for around 90 lakh families in the state. My government is of the view that the trauma of COVID-19 has affected people irrespective of their economic status. Hence, the decision to make this benefit not a targeted one, at least initially. 1,000 crore rupees was set aside for comprehensive health package, focus of which was to improve public health infrastructure and to equip the state to face the pandemic. Loans worth 2,000 crore rupees were distributed through Kutumb Shri mission to women self-help groups. 2,000 crore rupees was set aside for the expansion of the employment guarantee programs. 14,000 crore rupees was set aside to clear all the arrear payments by my government till April 2020, including pension, welfare assistance to informal sector workers, deferred bill payments of contractors, and scholarships for students. Deferment in payment of various utility charges, including electricity bills and water charges. In the current second wave of pandemic, which is now raging in Kerala, my government has announced 1,000 crore rupees as ex gratia payments to all the 14.7 lakh BPL families who are not in receipt of any other welfare pension. Other beneficial measures like distribution of kits of essential articles and prompt payment of Social Security and Welfare Board pensions have also been initiated. My government has clearly stated that it will provide preventive vaccination against COVID-19 free of cost to all. My government has clearly stated that it will provide preventive vaccination against COVID-19 free of cost to all. This is essential for building herd immunity against the pandemic. My government is of the considered opinion that preventive vaccine against COVID-19 shall be treated as a public good, the access to which shall be non-rival and non-exclusive. Due to the policy of differential pricing of vaccines, the additional cost to the state exchequer will be at least for 1 crore doses. It is pertinent to mention that many, including those who are not from the well-to-do sections of society, have come forward to donate substantial amounts to Chief Minister's Distress Relief Fund for enabling my government to meet the cost of procurement of vaccine. Here the undaunted willpower of the people of Kerala is on display again. In the health sector, the quick expansion of institutional capacity by addition of ICU beds, ventilators, and enhanced oxygen supply was bolstered through the setting up of field hospitals as COVID first line and second line treatment centers to cater to the patients in a graded manner. The creation of this surge capacity has enabled Kerala to divert some of the pressure on its core hospital facilities and thus ensure that some of the distressing scenes witnessed elsewhere are avoided in Kerala. This is combined with free treatment for COVID-19 in government hospitals across the state and cashless treatment coverage for 42 lakh poor families under the Karuna Arogya Suraksha Paddhati in 584 private hospitals in the state. The strength and ability of Kerala's health system to withstand the unprecedented challenge posed by COVID-19 pandemic are derived from the decentralized, people-centric, system-building approach. This has come in for mention as a model worthy of emulation in publications of institutions like the Reserve Bank of India. The state of Kerala also aligned itself to the Sustainable Development Goals approach by imbibing its essence and carving out a unique mission called Ardram Mission. It focuses mainly on strengthening primary health care by invigorating primary health centers with more human resources and transforming them into family health centers with more functional elements such as enhanced field level activities engaging local communities. Even though over 22 lakh COVID-19 cases have been confirmed in Kerala till date, we could limit the mortality to 6,612. In the early phase of the pandemic, the scrupulous tracing and isolation of persons coming into contact with infected individuals was ensured, thereby preventing the spread of the virus within the community. This public health strategy, perfected through the effective containment of the Nipah virus, was supplemented with the immensely successful Break the Chain campaign that urged the people to partner in these efforts through self-protection, hygiene, and social distancing. As the pandemic then progressed, public messaging was continuously modified to evolve with it, leading to other successful campaigns such as Back to Basics and the recent Crush the Curve. The district administrations and the local self-governments of Kerala, both rural and urban, have played a critical role in the management of the first wave of COVID-19 pandemic as well as its second surge. The ward level committees in all the local self-governments across the state, with the participation of community volunteers, are taking a lead role in coordinating the field level activities, including surveillance, managing the COVID first line treatment centers, the domiciliary care centers, and supporting people in home isolation. They also ensure that regular supply of food and medicines are made available to the households in need. Local self-governments are also running community kitchens with the aim to ensure food security and prevent starvation. Jankia hotels to provide meals at affordable rates are also being run, with Kutum Shri taking the lead role. The last year was an extremely difficult one for the state's economy and the society. It is estimated that our gross state domestic product would decline by about 3.82% in 2021. We expected a sharp recovery in the economic growth to 6.60% in 21-22. But the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic can be an impediment to this expectation. The downturn in the growth of GSDP would naturally have its adverse consequences on the state's revenue receipts. It has already witnessed a decline of 18.77% in 2021 as against the original budget estimate. though we expected a sharp rise of 37.87% growth in revenue receipts in 21-22, the consequences of lockdown necessitated by a surge in COVID-19 is likely to constrain this. Coupled with the additional expenditure commitments, the state finances is likely to witness higher revenue deficit as well as fiscal deficit. Once we achieve a higher growth rate, we can grow out of the deficits and debts. I would like to point out that as per the estimates of the 15th Finance Commission, the state's GSDP is expected to grow at 13.1% in the 5-year period of 21-26. Our state has been placed in the category of highest growing states. We need to achieve this projected growth rate to meet the emerging challenges. But this task has been made harder by the unprecedented challenges consequent to the pandemic. We achieved high levels of plan and social sector spending, including on health, in the last financial year through higher levels of borrowings, which has pushed our debt to GSDP ratio to over 36%. Consequent to the strident demand of the states, including Kerala, the union government relented to raise the annual borrowing limit from 3 to 5% of the GSDP. However, only 0.5% of this additional borrowing limit was unconditional. Though my government has its considered opinion on the imposition of conditionalities, in this as they run counter to the basic principles of cooperative federalism, we agreed to implement the reforms suggested in a manner which did not adversely affect the citizens. It is noteworthy that we have been successful in getting the entire 1.5% additional borrowing limit based on conditionalities relating to the power sector, public distribution system, one nation, one ration card, ease of doing business, and urban sector. Despite financial constraints, my government also implemented the 5-year pay revision for government employees as per our commitment. My government is committed to travel along the path of fiscal consolidation, but the resurgence of COVID-19 and the consequent Caesar effect, that is, falling revenues and rise in expenditure commitments, might constrain us to press the pause button on deficit targets. My government remains committed to ensure that the state continues on a path of growth with equity. That has brought it to the first position in the Niti Ayog's index on the Sustainable Development Goals among all Indian states. My government hopes to restructure and transform the state into a knowledge economy. The budget presented on 15th January 2021 highlighted this model and focused on providing higher employment opportunities for the educated unemployed in the state through various new schemes, including a digital platform through KDISC to ensure jobs for at least 20 lakh people over a 5-year period. The budget had also proposed higher levels of investment in higher education, in the digital economy, and in setting up centers of excellence in higher education in the state. It focused on facilitating 2,500 startups, setting up of an innovation fund for the local self-government, and providing higher levels of assistance to major universities for building their infrastructure, higher levels of investment in the digital economy, including completion of K-phone project and distribution of laptops to students. These initiatives will transform Kerala's economy. Kerala's development experience has unique characteristics that make it distinct. In the past, we achieved a high level of human development indicators with a low per capita income. This was made possible by public intervention in social sectors sustained by the community-based mass movement. This helped our people to migrate within the country and abroad and send a part of their earnings as remittances to the state. This catalyzed the growth of our per capita incomes. Presently, our per capita GSDP is 60% higher than the national average. As already mentioned, Kerala not only ranks first in Sustainable Development Goals, India Index of the Niti Aayog for 2019, it also tops the Devolution Index across all states with regard to devolution of funds, functions, and functionaries to local self-governments. However, Kerala's development experience faces two key challenges which cannot be lost sight of. Kerala's capital expenditure in the areas of social and physical infrastructure needs to be augmented, and more quality jobs need to be created for our youth and those who faced career break. It is to meet these twin challenges that my government created a dedicated and unique investment agency named Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board for ensuring adequate investment in both social and physical infrastructural sectors. This has also been supplemented by attracting support from multilateral and bilateral donors for the Rebuild Kerala initiative to create climate resilient infrastructure in the state. Our budget has manifold schemes for tackling the second major challenge of providing employment. I now turn to the details of the schemes and programs of the different departments, their notable achievements, and their plans for the future. Agriculture Development and Farmer Welfare Department. All Krishi Bhavans in the state will be converted to smart Krishi Bhavans. Research findings of scientists from Kerala Agricultural University and allied sector institutions will be fully utilized for increasing the production potential of crops in the state. My government is committed to raise farmers' incomes by 50% in the next 5 years. Value addition will be strengthened for this purpose by agro-processing and marketing and establishing new small-scale food processing industries and agro-parks. The production of vegetables in Kerala will be increased to attain self-sufficiency in vegetables during the next 5 years. The production of planing materials will be doubled during the next 5 years, and the availability and distribution to farmers will be done through online portal. New nursery law will be enacted to ensure the quality of planting materials supplied to farmers. The base price of crops included in the base price program will be enhanced every year, and more crops will be included in the program. For improving and creating awareness among the public about public health, new nutrition garden will be established. For enhancing the paddy cultivation, block level monitoring committee will be formed. New block level call centers will be established. Opportunity of urban farming will be explored. Animal Husbandry and Dairy Development Department. As part of the comprehensive reorganization of Animal Husbandry Department in a farmer-friendly manner, round-the-clock veterinary services will be extended to all the 77 taluks. A new center of excellence in goat will be made functional at Parasala in Thiruvananthapuram district under the National Livestock Mission. To ensure optimum milk production and reproductive capacity, the calf rearing scheme will be expanded in scope and coverage. The employment opportunity in animal husbandry and dairy sectors will be increased by 50% by providing assistance to farmers through Animal Resource Development Scheme. Value addition to make milk-based products will be focused upon. Ambulances will be provided in all 152 block panchayats for doorstep veterinary service to farmers. Kerala State Dairy Management Information Center will be established as a repository for accessing information and data by all stakeholders. Ayush Department, through 1,206 specialized Ayur Raksha clinics under the Department of Indian System of Medicine and Ayurveda Medical Education, Ayurvedic preventive medicines were distributed to quarantined people, those at high risk and senior citizens. The data compiled by the department shows that more than 23 lakh people have been covered under the Ayurvedic prevention strategy as on 20th May 2021. Bheshajam, the Ayurvedic management program for category A COVID-19 patients, has reached out to about 157,000 COVID-19 positive patients, while Punarjani, the Ayurvedic convalescent care program for post-COVID patients covered around 153,000 people as on 20th May 2021. In the current second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ayush Department has worked out a detailed plan to expand the scope and reach of the Ayurvedic and homeopathic prevention strategy. The proposed International Research Institute for Ayurveda at Kannur, once established, will facilitate the scientific validation and systematic documentation of Ayurvedic therapies. Backward Communities Development Department. My government is committed to fiscally empower the Backward Classes Development Corporation. My government has given additional guarantee for an amount of 300 crore rupees to the corporation. The issues faced by the converted Christians will also be addressed in adequate measure. Coastal Shipping and Inland Navigation Department. The main arterial waterway of the state is the West Coast Canal, which connects Kovalam in the south to Bekal in the north, extending to a length of 616 kilometers. The development of West Coast Canal and the proposed
ഗവർണറുടെ
new
നയപ്രഖ്യാപന
canal
പ്രസംഗം പുരോഗമിക്കുകയാണ്. ക്ഷേമ വികസന പദ്ധതികൾ തുടരാൻ സർക്കാർ പ്രതിജ്ഞാബദ്ധമാണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു തുടങ്ങിയ ഗവർണർ നയപ്രഖ്യാപനത്തിലൂടെ നിരവധി പദ്ധതികളെക്കുറിച്ചും പ്രഖ്യാപനം നടത്തിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. രണ്ടാം പിണറായി വിജയൻ സർക്കാരിന്റെ ആദ്യ നയപ്രഖ്യാപന പ്രസംഗം തുടരുകയാണ്. ഗവർണർ ആരിഫ് മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ നയപ്രഖ്യാപനം നടത്തുകയാണ്. തത്സമയ സംപ്രേഷണത്തിലേക്ക്.
Implemented with the consultancy support of NABARD will start commercial production during this financial year. Devas from department. My government is implementing the Sabrimala Idattavalam project with the assistance of KIIFB to provide better facilities for Sabrimala pilgrims to meet their primary requirements of rest and comfort. Culture. In order to extend livelihood support to the Kerala traditional and rural craftsmen and to create stable market avenues for them, a new project called the Rural Art Hub Scheme is being implemented in 14 heritage art craft villages in the state. Around 2,000 craftsmen are targeted to receive benefits under the scheme. A financial assistance to the tune of 10.25 crore rupees has been dispersed to around 66,000 artists and cultural activists as COVID assistance during the first wave of the pandemic in 2020. Construction of 14 major cultural complexes in the name of Kerala's Renaissance leaders, one each in every district, is a landmark project undertaken under the Cultural Affairs Department. The Malayalam mission was able to set up chapters in 32 foreign countries and 22 Indian states. It launched an internet radio service called Radio Malayalam, which is a notable achievement. During this financial year 21-22, a Kerala Culture Museum will be set up to showcase the unique culture of Kerala. The proposed museum will throw light on Kerala's past ethnic and community life. Local cultural centers would be set up as cultural activity hubs to create a venue for the local artists and promote literary discourses. The Rural Art Hub scheme would be extended as rural art and craft hubs to include more art and craft villages. In the wake of the second wave of COVID-19, an online cultural festival will be organized to create a platform for the performance of artists and extend support to them. Electronics and Information Technology Department. The focus of Kerala State IT Mission in 21-22 will be to upgrade the data centers forming the backbone of the IT infrastructure, setting up of an Aadhaar data vault, unified state portal, center of excellence for data analytics and artificial intelligence and implementation of single sign-on. Currently, 2,000 public Wi-Fi hotspots have been set up in the state to provide free internet in public places. This will be expanded K-Phone project with a vision to ensure last mile connectivity to government offices in the state and to provide free high-speed internet to the poor families will be expanded. State Service Delivery Gateway Portal and M-Keralam application will bring e-governance facilities to the common people. Electronic file processing system will be implemented in all the government establishments to ensure timely action and more transparency. By the end of the financial year 2021, Techno Park had built around 10.27 million square feet and Info Park had built around 9 million square feet space for IT industry. 450 and 425 IT companies are established in Techno Park and Info Park respectively, and they provide direct employment opportunities to 1.2 lakh IT staff. My government supported the technology companies operating from the government-owned IT buildings by way of providing 3 months rent waiver schemes and rent-free period scheme in the light of COVID-19 pandemic. Several multinational companies are in the process of functioning and expanding their establishments in IT parks of the state. TCS is expected to start the construction work of TCS Aerospace Hub in the 97 acres allotted at the Techno City campus, Thiruvananthapuram, during 2021. Info Park Thrissur, with 39 companies, is functioning across different verticals and categories and has created over 1,100 employment opportunities in a semi-urban location. Infrastructure build-up of the project Technology Innovation Zone, Kalamaseri and Village Knowledge Center, Kannur, will be commissioned by Kerala State IT Infrastructure Limited. Kalamaseri will become the biggest hardware ecosystem in the country with the launching of TIZ. The Kerala Startup Mission executes major programs such as Youth Entrepreneurship Program and Technology Innovative Project. for the establishment and growth of technology startup ecosystem in Kerala. 3,900 startups, 4 accelerators, 40 incubators, and 280 mini incubators, and 30,000 aspiring entrepreneurs have been created so far by Kerala Startup Mission. The ongoing schemes of Kerala Startup Mission will continue in 21-22. K-Wins, a program focused on tapping the capacity of educated unemployed women initiated in 2021 will continue. My government has promulgated an ordinance for restructuring Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management, Kerala, into a university named the Kerala University of Digital Sciences,
രണ്ടാം പിണറായി
Innovation
വിജയൻ
and
സർക്കാരിന്റെ
Technology.
നയപ്രഖ്യാപനം നടത്തുകയാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ ഗവർണർ
Focus mainly
ആരിഫ്
on
മുഹമ്മദ് ഖാൻ.
research,
കോവിഡ് ആദ്യഘട്ടത്തിലെ ക്ഷേമപ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ വിശദീകരിച്ചു ഗവർണർ. ഒപ്പം രണ്ടാം വ്യാപനത്തിലും ക്ഷേമപ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളുമായി സർക്കാർ മുന്നോട്ടു പോകും. എല്ലാവർക്കും വാക്സിൻ നൽകണമെന്നതാണ് സർക്കാർ നയമെന്നും ഗവർണർ പറഞ്ഞു. ഒപ്പം കെ ഫോൺ വഴി സർക്കാർ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളെ ബന്ധിപ്പിക്കും. പാവപ്പെട്ടവർക്ക് അതിവേഗ ഇന്റർനെറ്റ് സൗകര്യം. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ സ്വകാര്യ ആശുപത്രികളിലും ജനങ്ങൾക്ക് സൗജന്യ കോവിഡ് ചികിത്സയ്ക്ക് കൊറോണ ആരോഗ്യ സുരക്ഷാ പദ്ധതി തുടങ്ങി നിരവധി പദ്ധതികളും നയപ്രഖ്യാപനത്തിലൂടെ ഗവർണർ പറഞ്ഞുവെക്കുന്നു.
Support the state in responding to global climate change by building capacities for climate change actions and to make Kerala a climate resilient state through improved climate change governance and services linking climate science, policies and people. Online processing of applications for coastal regulation zone clearance for residential buildings shall also commence by financial year 21-22. Excise Department. The Vimukti Vision has been launched by my government to achieve the goal of drug-free Kerala. The Vimukti Mission, in collaboration with government hospitals, has set up 14 Vimukti de-addiction centers to provide treatment to persons who got into the habit of drug abuse. Till date, 44,673 people have been treated through these de-addiction centers. A Vimukti Jagrata Samiti will be formed with the ward member or councillor of the respective local self-governments as its convener to trace out the illicit use and consumption of drugs. The Samiti will intimate the Excise Department in case any further follow-up is required on this issue. My government aims to make school and college campuses drug-free. There are currently 5,741 anti-drug clubs functioning at school and college levels. Anti-drug clubs will be extended to all schools, public and private, and the Awakening project will be implemented in selected schools in all districts. Fisheries and Harbour Engineering. The Punargeham project, with an outlay of 2,450 crore for the rehabilitation of 18,685 fisher folk families residing within 50 miles of high tide line will be expedited. Inland fish production shall be doubled by focusing on new technologies like biofloc aquaculture systems, recirculatory aquaculture systems, and intensive aquaculture. In the present COVID-19 situation, door-to-door delivery of fresh fish at reasonable price will be promoted. This will be channelized through selected fish marts of Matsya Fed in all districts. Several fishing harbors, including Mutalapodi, Chelanam, Thanur, Koilalendi, Velail, and Manjeshwaram were commissioned in 2021.
രണ്ടാം പിണറായി വിജയൻ സർക്കാരിന്റെ ആദ്യ നയപ്രഖ്യാപനം തുടരുകയാണ്.
Would be put in place to streamline and consolidate the activities of Supply Co so as to ensure that the PSU operates profitably. Paddy procurement would be made more farmer-centric. Agricultural produce, especially edible cash crops of Kerala, will be procured and marked through Supply Co outlets after converting them into value-added products. The online home delivery network under Supply Co would be further extended across the state. A new technical lab would be operationalized under the aegis of Legal Metrology Department towards making the system more people and business friendly. Gold assaying and testing labs will be set up by the Legal Metrology Department at Thiruvananthapuram, Ernakulam, and Kozhikode. The largest state-of-the-art, now this is about forest and wildlife, the largest state-of-the-art elephant rehabilitation center project in India, spanning 176 hectares at Kotur, Thiruvananthapuram, was inaugurated on 16th February 2021. A zoological park of international standards at Puthur in Thrissur district, the first phase of which has been inaugurated, shall be completed by 2022. The field units of the Forest Department will be reorganized on landscape basis so that the forest and adjoining areas come under holistic and coordinated management, which will improve their hydrological planning. Appropriate training and equipment will be given to forest staff, and forest stations will be established in a phased manner. My government also intends to establish 500 demonstrative green plots or miniature forests in school, college premises called Vidya Vanam, which will inculcate love and belonging towards nature and forest among the students. Nagara Vanam will be established in collaboration with local self-government institutions, residents associations, and other agencies. General administration. Kerala State Welfare Corporation for Forward Communities. The corporation has launched a project for farming for the uplift of economically backward classes in the forward communities. The corporation has already given financial support to 178 joint liability groups and 23 individuals across Kerala, amounting to rupees 1,61,38,350 in the financial year 2021. As part of economic intervention in women's empowerment, KSWCFC had launched a new project named Samunnathi Tusanila Mini Cafe, which is intended to prepare and serve quality food to the common people at lower cost. For this, the corporation has implemented the project in collaboration with Commissionerate of Food Safety and Dhan Lakshmi Bank. This program will also increase the employment opportunities among the women, joint liability groups among economically backward sections in forward communities. As a first step, the corporation had given support to 4 women jail Gs across the state, amounting to 600,000 rupees. 3 Thusanila Mini Cafe at Uttarkara, Alapura, and Thalavadi have already opened, and in this financial year, and the KSWCFC is planning to open 96 more cafes across the state. Kerala Youth Leadership Academy. Kerala Youth Leadership Academy is a first of its kind, unique institution in the country, incubated by my government to empower the youth across the state to integrate their potential and commitment towards the social development and governance in Kerala. Samuhik Sannad Sena is the unique volunteer community task force under my government to create or develop a disaster resilient community. There are around 3.8 lakh registered Sannad Sena volunteers across the state. Around 10,000 volunteers are active on ground as police volunteers. 7,000 have been deployed in various CFLTCs for COVID-19 duty. Around 6,000 are currently active under various LSGIS for COVID-19 related activities. Sannadha Sena volunteers have ensured adequate intervention during all crises in the state, assisting the state governance and district administration to help contain disasters more effectively. The renovation of the Travancore Palace in New Delhi has been entrusted to NBCC and the work is to start soon. General education. The infrastructural standards have been enhanced in all levels of schools. As a consequence, the enrollment of students in government and aided schools in the state has gone up considerably. Despite the pandemic situation, the department continued to conduct classes through the online mode. My government aims to enhance the quality of school education so as to make it more oriented to development of life skills. Health and Family Welfare Department successfully handled the problem of massive surge in COVID-19 incidents with the cooperation and coordination with other frontline departments. Major government healthcare facilities in the state were expanded on a real-time basis. A total of 148 CFLTCs, which means 19,093 beds, 88 CSLTCs, 8,470 beds, and 608 domiciliary care centers, which means 26,679 beds, are arranged for admitting patients in addition to the hospital facilities. The lab network too was strengthened from a single testing lab at the beginning to 2,667 labs at present for COVID-19 testing in Kerala. Our health department has received widespread acclaim for fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Continuous training programs and volunteer recruitment through the COVID Brigade and utilizing the services of the 3.8 lakh strong community volunteer corps ensured a steady flow of trained human resources to these centers. My government also took proactive steps to empanel private healthcare institutions in its mission through the Kerala Arogya Suraksha Paddhati health insurance scheme. A treatment package for COVID-19 walk-in patients into private hospitals was also declared for bringing fairness in treatment costs across various hospitals. Kerala has also performed exceptionally well in rolling out its COVID-19 vaccination drive across the state with 65,92745 people having been administered the first dose of vaccine and 21,936 people having been administered both doses of vaccine. Kerala's vaccination program has been lauded for its efficiency and zero wastage of vaccines. Under the Ardharam Mission Outpatient Department, transformation work in 8 medical colleges, 9 district general hospitals and 1 taluk hospital has been completed. The Karunya Arogya Suraksha Paddhati implemented by the State Health Agency provides health care cover and cashless treatment of 5 lakh rupees per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization to over 42 lakhs poor and vulnerable families in the state. Higher education, the academic quality and physical infrastructure of higher education institutions will be enhanced to national and international standards so as to ensure Kerala's steady transformation into a modern knowledge society. The quality of self-financed higher education institutions will be ensured through a state-level accreditation mechanism. To cater to the increasing demand for higher education, there will be an increase in the number of seats, new courses and research facilities. It is expected that 3 to 4 lakh more students will get an opportunity to pursue higher education as a result of these initiatives. The Eminent Scholars Online Program, an online interactive lecture series given by world-class eminent professors in various fields for graduate and postgraduate students of our colleges, universities is being implemented. My government started the digital and the Shri Narayan Guru Open Universities during 2021. University departments and centers will be elevated as centers of excellence. The Home Department, the state has always been a pioneer in adopting technology in policing. Artificial intelligence projects in the police department will be initiated in the year 21-22. Cyber domes at Thiruvananthapuram, Kochi and Kozhikode will be strengthened. It is proposed to set up a high-tech cyber security center at Thiruvananthapuram. It is proposed to constitute a coastal police division and a counter-intelligence cell for neutralizing activities of foreign agencies. Starting of cyber crime investigation division and setting up of economic offense wing are also proposed. An initiative to provide enhanced security for senior citizens, women and children will be implemented with the aid of technology. Housing. The Housing Board will implement Grashri Housing Scheme by disbursing subsidy to 1,000 beneficiaries with an outlay of 20 crore rupees, an Ashwas rental scheme for providing rental accommodation for the patients who require constant medical attention and who are undergoing treatment in medical colleges of the state will be taken up. As part of Kerala State Housing Board Golden Jubilee celebrations in the year 2021, the KSHB has launched the Sohurdam Parpila Paddhati, an innovative self-financing housing loan scheme with the participation of people for the home security of the community. KSHB has also invited expression of interest to select consultant developer to implement the International Exhibition Nagar project through PPP mode in the 17.9 acres of land owned by KSHB at Marine Drive, Kochi. Pirvasi housing scheme started in last financial year will be continued more effectively to fulfill the housing needs of the low income group of Pirvasis. Industries. Kerala has witnessed a perceptible growth in industrial investment in last 5 years. Close to 48% of the MSME establishments, that is 68,419 in the state, were formed during the same period. An estimated 300,000 employment opportunities were created in the MSME sector. The reform process in the industrial area encapsulated in the online platform K-Swift provides 79 online service spread across 14 departments. All new and renewal process of licensing are delivered on this portal, which has changed the landscape of industrial licensing in the state. Automatic approvals for MSMEs highlight the change in my government's approach from investigation or inquiries to the issuance of approvals on self-declarations. Close to 11,878 MSME acknowledged certificates for starting MSMEs have been issued in the state. On the other hand, the Innovation Index ranking made by Niti Aayog has ranked Kerala at the 10th place, and the National Council of Applied Economic Research have placed Kerala in 6th position under the Investment Potential Index. My government has taken the policy decision to form a state-level complaints redressal committee for dealing with complaints and grievances from investors. A committee has been formed to suggest draft legislation for this. The industrial model of MSME-based industrial growth is further strengthened by adopting a strategy to attract large-scale investors or anchor investors. The state is one of the better performing states under the Government of India's Cluster Development Program. My government, while formulating projects, has taken care to handhold and develop traditional sectors like textiles, khadi, handicrafts, handloom, coir, and rubber. In order to safeguard employment and revive industrial activity, my government has offered to take over 3 loss-making central PSUs: Instrumentation Limited in Palakkad, Hindustan Newsprint Limited Kottayam, and BHEL in Kasaragod. The number of PSUs making profit has increased from 14 to 16 in the last year. An open source platform is being developed by the Electronic and Information Technology Department, which will soon link all these stakeholders. This is in addition to the already existing e-market platform. This program is expected to create at least 100,000 jobs every year, and in a period of 5 years, the state could add up to 500,000 jobs on a sustained basis. My government is committed to developing the Kochi-Palakkad Industrial Corridor to overcome the logistic cost and hurdles of bringing goods from outside the state. Fast-track development of 481 acres of Kinfra Petrochemical Park in Ambal Mughal with all supporting infrastructure for anchor investor BPCL and 13 other units will be ensured. Fast-track development of Kochi-Bengaluru Industrial Corridor by developing Palakkad as a node and GIFT city as the hub in Kochi. This initiative is likely to generate investment of 20,000 crore and has an employment potential of 15,000. A spice park is supposed to be developed by Kinfra at Thodupuza. Integrated rice technology parks are planned by Kinfra at Palakkad and Elapura districts. Now, Mr. Speaker, if you permit, since my address will be laid on the table of the House, so I will now confine myself to some important parts, or if you wish, I will read the whole thing. Some part. Okay. Thank you very much. I would like to refer to Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board. In 2016, my government set for itself the ambitious target of transforming the infrastructure landscape in the state. Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board was designated as the agency for achieving this ambitious objective through a unique and innovative model. After 4 years of its relentless service to the state, KIIFB's achievements speak for themselves. KIIFB has so far approved 903 projects with an outlay of 6322,442 crore. These projects comprise both physical and social infrastructure across a range of sectors, including hospitals and health centers, schools and colleges, roads and bridges, water supply and sanitation, electricity and communication networks, industrial parks, and cultural complexes. Out of these, 488 projects worth rupees 21,309.68 crore have been tendered, and 27 projects worth 732 crore and 160 project components worth 560.29 crore have been commissioned. KIIFB has also become a pioneer in adopting the green building agenda in the state by mandating that all KIIFB funded buildings above a certain size shall be certified as green buildings. KIIFB has also recently entered into a MOU with International Finance Corporation to help structure KIIFB projects as PPP projects. Information and Public Relations Department. The department was instrumental in ensuring effective communication to the public during the crisis of COVID-19. In addition, the Break the Chain campaign of my government to arrest COVID-19 was successfully disseminated to all sections of society through the department. Iniyum Munnotu, the flagship campaign led by the department, effectively communicated the policies of my government to people, and it helped to raise awareness of the government schemes and programs. Following the completion of initial works of visual history project, I and PRD would now embark on setting up a digital museum, online library, and digital replication of the content to maximize sharing of the content to a variety of users. In 21-22, as part of integrated news grid project, I and PRD intends to enhance the penetration of information gathering and dissemination by additional deployment of trained personnel, labor and skills. My government has decided to award Todilali Shrestha in 15 employment sectors in order to promote the productivity and upgrade professional skills of the workers. The phase 1 of the guest workers friendly residence in Kerala project Ale will be started in 3 localities, namely Payapad in Kottayam, Bengal Colony in Ernakulam, and Patambi in Palakkad districts. A unique health insurance scheme, namely Awas, has been implemented for the guest workers in Kerala with rupees 2 lakh as accidental death insurance claim for each insured person. 509,451 guest workers have already been registered under the scheme. In the context of ease of doing business and online processing of building applications, the building rules were amended and the new Kerala Municipality Building Rules and Kerala Panchayat Building Rules were enacted. The total housing program life mission in the state has completed 262,402 houses. Out of these, 255,447 houses have been provided with free insurance coverage and an amount of rupees 8823.20 crore have been spent by my government for providing houses to eligible houseless families. Suichvita Padavi status was obtained by 711 out of 1,034 local self-governments in the state. The Clean Kerala Company entered into agreement with 424 local self-governments for waste transportation and recovery, 968 material collection facilities and 175 resource recovery facilities with the support of Harit Karma Sena started functioning in the state to address door-to-door collection of waste. Repair of 5,296 rural roads damaged during the flood of 18 and 19 amounting to rupees 1,000 crore have been taken up under the Chief Minister's local road rebuild project. In addition to this, development of 408 roads have been taken up worth rupees 469 crores under Rebuild Kerala initiative. The local self-government will take up the following initiatives during 21-22. All agricultural development activities would be based on watershed. Long-term institutional capability will be developed for waste management, especially in liquid waste management, including sewage and septic. The newly approved World Bank supported Kerala Solid Waste Management Project will be taken up on priority for the waste management. At least one regional landfill will be developed in the state for closure of historic waste dumps through capping or bioremedication. The Nepunya Karma Sena was formed by the department to rectify electrical, plumbing, carpentry works of the damaged houses that emerged subsequent to 2018 floods. In present scenario of repeated natural hazards, my government aims to step up Nepunya Karma Sena as a permanent setup during the financial year 21-22. As part of the environmental friendly initiatives, my government has put in place a green rebate in property tax levied by local government for buildings constructed in eco-sustainable manner. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. For the first time in the history of the implementation of NREGS, the scheme has generated more than 10 crore person days. The state achieved 102.3% of the labor budget and generated 1,023 lakh person days against the approved labor budget of 1,000 lakh person days. Average person days for households under the scheme in the year was 63.25. 470,412 households completed 100 days of employment under the scheme in financial year 2021, out of which 33,951 are tribal households. Women person days out of the total person days generated is 90.49%. Minority Welfare Department. My government is committed to address the problems faced by the minority communities in the right earnest. A commission headed by a retired judge of the Kerala High Court has been appointed to study the issues faced by Christian minority. Its report is awaited. My government has started a coaching center for youth belonging to minority communities in Thalassery in the last financial year. Scholarships worth 15.81 crore for students undergoing courses in various stages and streams have been disbursed. Under Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram, sanction has been accorded for the construction of birds schools, dialysis centers, common service centers, women facilitation and skill development center. COVID relief at rupees 2,000 each has been provided to 12,500 madrasa teachers. Norka Department. COVID-19 pandemic has affected the Pravasi in diverse ways. From March 2020 to May 2021, an estimated 14.01 lakh NRKs have returned to Kerala. The COVID-19 pandemic triggered the return, with over 60% of them losing their jobs overseas. As a result, my government has implemented rescue, relief and rehabilitative measures to reduce the impact of the pandemic on the lives of the returning migrants. My government established help desk in 16 countries for providing information and help in evacuation measures initiated by the Government of India and Kerala. The existing schemes of Santhavana and NDPREM were strengthened to extend financial assistance to the Pravasi community. Norka department is implementing 24 planned programs through its 4 organizations. The Pravasi Welfare Board implements several welfare programs like pension schemes and Pravasi Dividend Scheme. Pravasi Dividend Scheme has so far collected a deposit of 181.1 crore. My government proposes to facilitate safer, ethical and economically advantageous migration to new markets with additional skill training in language and other skills. My government will prepare Vision Document 2030 during the year 21-22, which is aligned with its policies and programs and in tune with the goals set in United Nations SDGs. Ports Department. My government has completed construction of 101 meter length first phase of the passenger cum multi-purpose berth at Kollam Port as part of enabling the port to facilitate commercial shipping. Power Department. My government has ensured 24/7 power supply to its consumers without imposing any load shedding or power cut during the last 5 years. The technical loss in power transmission was brought down to an all-time low of 9.86% from 14.37% in 15-16. The Transgrid 2 project with project outlay of 10,000 crores is transforming the power transmission infrastructure to meet the requirements of the state for next 2 decades. Public Works Department. The department is implementing 20,000 crore rupees worth of works under KIIFP funding. Out of 320 projects approved, 184 projects are in progress and 115 are under evaluation. Administrative sanction has also been accorded for Elapura Changanasheri Road for an amount of 671.66 crore. Out of the 29 RKI projects, agreements have been executed for 24 works for 3,712 crore. These will be disaster resilient roads with long-term maintenance. contracts and design life of 15 years. Rebuild Kerala initiative. The state of Kerala was designated as the development partner by the World Bank and provided a development policy loan of $250 million as its first tranche for the project for rebuilding the infrastructure in Kerala after devastating floods in 2018. Recently, the negotiating meetings with the Government of India, World Bank and AIIB for an additional amount of $250 million for RK12 are over and the project is likely to be approved soon. The total external assistance tied up from World Bank, KFW and AIB towards RKDP project implementation so far is rupees 5,898 crore, and this when added to the state share of 30% comes to a total of 8,425 crore rupees. Against this, administrative sanctions have been issued for rupees 7,405 crore rupees for projects under 12 departments which are now in various stages of implementation. 4,677 crore rupees worth projects have already been tendered and are under implementation. Sainik Welfare Department, the initial work on the long-awaited war memorial at Akulam near Southern Air Command will be undertaken during the current financial year. Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribes Development Department. In order to ensure placement in private and public sectors, my government will set up a virtual tribal employment exchange by bringing potential employers, industry leaders, line departments, and unemployed tribal youth on a common platform. In order to eliminate the linguistic barriers in education and learning of tribal children, the Scheduled Tribes Development Department had formulated an innovative program called Gotra Bandhu. Under this program, educated tribal youth, preferably with TTC B.Ed qualification with knowledge in tribal dialect and Malayalam, are being selected and trained to function as mentor, teacher, education facilitator in selected primary schools throughout the state. 500 new community study centers will be established during 21-22, thereby helping at least 15,000 tribal children in achieving academic excellence. Under the Gotra Jivika program, the Scheduled Tribes Development Department has trained 1,170 tribal youth so far in skills related to construction industry, masonry, plumbing, electrification, carpentry, and constituted 54 self-help groups. It is intended to expand this program in 2021-22 and train 2,000 tribal youth. It is also proposed to set up tribal villages of probation system. This will be further strengthened. Survey and land records. My government has taken steps regarding establishment of continuously operating reference station in the state to facilitate the survey activities of the state by introducing and establishing modern technologies. Sports and youth affairs. This department proposes to establish G.V. Raja Center of Excellence in Manakulam with KIIFB assistance. Taxes. There has been significant increase in GST collections in the last quarter of the financial year 2021. This has been the combined result of various compliance measures. Tourism Department. Human by nature. The marketing strategy adopted by Kerala tourism during 1920 to tide over the crisis due to the massive floods in 2018 has been recognized by PATA and was bestowed with PATA Gold Award during 2021. The print campaign and film campaign of Human by Nature won 2 Das Golden Stater Awards 2020 as well. In order to extend support to the tourism stakeholders, a COVID-19 relief assistance package has been sanctioned in 2021 through Tourism Working Capital Support Scheme, Tourism Empowerment Support Scheme, Tourism Houseboat Support Scheme, and Tourism Guide Support Scheme. The ongoing projects of Malanad Malabar River Cruise, Miyawaki Model Afforestation in 12 districts, Waste Management at 79 destinations, Thalassery Heritage Project Phase 2, projects at Valley, Kovalam and Shangumukham, Travancore Heritage Project, Muzari's Heritage Project Phase 2, Travancore Achutengu Heritage Corridor Project, and Vinoda Sanchara Bhavan at Thiruvananthapuram are worth mentioning. Transport Department. The policy of my government will be to incentivize the public transport system, including road transport, taxis and auto rickshaws. At the same time, the private transport modes will be disincentivized to reduce traffic blocks, environmental pollution, accidents and time delays. All the heavy vehicles and public transport vehicles will be encouraged to switch over to green fuels, CNG, LNG, electricity and hydrogen. Kerala State Road Transport Corporation, the management of KSRTC will be made professional and several cost-cutting and efficiency-enhancing measures will be implemented through KSRTC restructure. As part of this, my government will go ahead with a separate company for long-distance service operations, namely KSRTC. Swift Limited KSRTC will be transformed into a reliable, affordable, commuter-friendly and clean transport system for the Kerala. Water Transport Department. The entire fleet of water transport boats will be switched over to CNG or solar power. The department has decided to introduce India's first solar electric RO service and Kerala's first amphibious type water bus during the year 21-22. The modernization of water transport will be undertaken to dovetail with other public transport systems. The potential for cargo movement, tourism avenues and ferry services will be utilized fully. India's first solar-powered boat named Aditya on the Vacuum Tavanakavadu route won the Gustav Trove Award 2020 and has been successfully ferrying passengers for the last 4 years. Kerala Rail Development Corporation. The ambitious Silver Line project envisaged by my government will introduce cost-effective semi-high-speed rail travel for the first time in Kerala. The Silver Line will be a game changer, providing a convenient mode of transport to the people of Kerala by reducing the travel time from Thiruvananthapuram to Kasaragod to 4 hours from existing 12 hours. Kochi Metro. Kochi Metro has achieved completion of the phase 1 of the project from Eluva to Peta with the inauguration of the last stage on 7th September. Kochi Metropolitan Transport Authority has been constituted on 30th October. It is the first authority of its kind in India to integrate, plan and regulate different commuting models of the city. Water Resources Department. Vigilance and Anti-Corruption. The Vigilance and Anti-Corruption Bureau has initiated several innovative measures in support of my government policy of zero tolerance to corruption in the administration and implementation of the projects. In conclusion, let me state that my government strongly believes in the principles of cooperative federalism, in which center, state and local governments are equal partners in the developmental efforts. The state has recently celebrated 25 years of democratic decentralization. This is an example of tiers of government functioning in cooperation and harmony and not as parts of the pyramidal structure. In this version that has led my it is this vision that has led my government to advocate restructuring of center-state relations. My government believes in fostering the spirit of constitutional ethos and uphold the values of the freedom movement like democracy, secularism and right to fruits of development by everyone in our society. My government is committed to transform them into reality. Thank you. Jai Hind.
രണ്ടാം പിണറായി സർക്കാരിന്റെ ആദ്യ നയപ്രഖ്യാപനം അവസാനിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നു. നിരവധി വികസന ക്ഷേമ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളുടെ പദ്ധതികൾ പ്രഖ്യാപിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നു. മുൻ സർക്കാർ തുടങ്ങിവെച്ച വികസന പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ പൂർത്തിയാക്കും, അതുമായി മുന്നോട്ടു പോകും. കോവിഡ് പശ്ചാത്തലത്തിൽ ആരോഗ്യ മേഖലയ്ക്ക് കൂടുതൽ മുൻതൂക്കം നൽകും. ഇൻഫ്രാസ്ട്രക്ചർ അടക്കം നിരവധി വികസന പദ്ധതികൾ നടപ്പിലാക്കും. സാംസ്കാരിക, സാമൂഹ്യ, കാർഷിക മേഖലയിൽ ഉന്നമനത്തിനായി വിവിധ പദ്ധതികൾ